Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this beautiful stationery box, and I'm also going to teach you how to adapt to whatever you have inside. So let me show you what it looks like. Inside here in this one I added some cards, and you of course you use some paper that matches. Oh, I have a little piece of paper here. I made some 3x3 cards, just thank you cards or whichever, happy birthday. But I made some matching cards with the tags, like Christmas, not Christmas, but gift tags. So I'm just gonna put everything that I've made here, just so you see. Here are the tags, they go and they match. And this is like a little tiny notebook with a belly band. It's just something you get in the dollar store, and you just make it look pretty. So here's the belly band. I just love this stationery box because you can actually adapt. This is a gift that I'm making for a friend's daughter. These are some stickers that I got online that I know she'll love. These are just absolutely gorgeous stickers. Look at these. So I put some stickers there, and I have these that kind of goes with it. Oh, there is a pen here. There you are. And it kind of goes with the pen because it's a bookmark, one of those magnetic ones. And I have this is one of my favorite pens, so that's the magnetic bookmark. And I think that's it. But what I'm going to teach you today is how to make this out of 12x12 paper, and also how to adapt the sizes here depending on what you're going to insert, because you might want to insert some tiny tags and cards and bookmarks or whatever you want. But let's get to that. And it's not, I know it looks really complicated, but it's not. I'll teach you how to adapt the sizes and how to make the box and the lid. The lid closes the box perfectly, so you have no idea what's inside until you open it. So let's have some fun. The first thing I want to show you is the paper that I used, and just give you some tips. Always choose a solid color, and then you pick some different paper from the same paper pad, and that's what I did here because they will always match. Sometimes you have scraps and you want to use it and they don't go together. So what I do is I choose one paper pad, and that's the one that I use for one of the boxes. And that way you know that all of them will match, because even though they have different designs, see this one has skulls, it has some unicorn, hearts, mermaids, flowers, but the papers always match because they will use the same color combination. So that's one tip for you. That's the one that I used for the box that I'm actually going to teach you. But I already have one made, and that one I used a different paper pad. But again, see, another color, totally different, and a totally different paper pad. But again, they all go together. This one actually has the same design in all of them, just different colors, these flowers here. And I used this same cardstock to make the cards that I used for the inside. And also you see that in one of the boxes, I just created some cards, 3x3. And I also created some tags to go, if you want to give a gift, you have the card and the tag. But that's the first tip I have for you. Now let's get to how to create the box. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, you get your 12x12 piece of cardstock, and the thicker the better because it is a box. So I always use cardstock, and what you're going to do is you're going to score at 5 inches and then 7. Turn it around, and you're going to score again at 1 3/4 right here, and you go up to this line here. You don't go all the way down, okay? So 1 3/4. I'm going to score, but this is actually going to be cut but that's fine. It just shows me where to cut because I don't usually use one of those cutting boards for cutting. And then you go score all the way down on 3 inches, then 9 all the way down again, and then on 10 1/4 right here, 10 1/4, you're going to do the same thing you did on this side. So you're just going to score up to the line, and that's where you're going to cut to. When it's a little shortcut like this, I don't use the board. I only use that when it's a big cut. So here we're going to do 1 and 3. This is going to be cut to this part. These outer parts here are going to be cut. This, and we're going to have another one here. So here's just to show me where I'm going to cut. 1, 3 is already here, 9 is already there, and we're going to do 11. So this shows where this paper is going to be cut. So all the lines are here. Do you see it? Now it's easier to see. I know that far you can't really see anything. Let's just burnish our scoring. So it makes it easier to cut too. And also to show you what's happening here. This stationery box, I have made a few of them in the past. This has been around for a while. But every time I have a special present to give, I always think it's the best because you can just add so many things inside. You can add note cards, you can add cards. You know that space that I showed you in the beginning where I have the little tiny notebook. You can actually add cards there. So this is the middle like this. And now what we're going to do is to cut the pieces that need to be cut. So as I told you, all these outer parts here are going to be cut. So this is where we scored. And I score it because it makes it easier to cut. There you go. You will understand why you need all this cutting here. As soon as we start putting it together, you will understand. Now this little part here, which is, I believe it's 1 inch. You can use your cutting boards if you have those, but I don't know, I like using scissors. And the good thing about scoring is that you see very clearly where you're supposed to cut. There you are. You're going to cut here too, because these are going to be flaps that will fold in. There you go. I'll show you a diagram so it makes it a little bit clearer for you to see why all this cutting. I have some drawings here, let me show you. It's not very good, but it will give you an idea. So here is the box itself. We cut this part, this part, this part, and this part, and also here, because these are going to fold in. See, this part and this, and they're going to actually glue here like this. But I'm not, let's just keep cutting the paper and then we'll put it together and you will understand. But just by looking at this, you already have an idea, I'm sure, that that's how the box closes. The box closes. See, this is going to be glued. That's how it closes. And it actually folds in like this, and you have all those parts. So let's keep cutting. Okay, now this paper here, I already have all my pieces cut because I don't want you to waste video time with that. But this one, just so you know, is 8.5 inches by 4 1/4. Don't worry about these measurements because I'm going to have everything down below. But just so you know, 1/4, we're going to score here at 1 1/4 on one side and 7 1/4 on the other side, and then you're going to turn it around and you're going to score on 3 inches. So just so you see all the scoring now, see? And I'm going to show you what to do with this part. You're going to cut this, see this little corner here, this little square? All these squares, no, 2 squares will be cut off, okay? But I like to cut it in an angle like this because it makes it easier to glue. There you go, see, you just angle a little bit. Same thing here. There you go. See? And then you just burnish again all the score lines. Okay, let's get the other ones. These are the little strips that where you insert the little tags or the cards or whatever you want. So let's get the measurements here. This one is 5.5 by 2. They have the same height, see? Both are 2s, but this one is 5.5 and this one is 4.5. So 5.5 by 2, 4.5 by 2. And you're going to score, this one is very easy, you're going to score on 1/2 and 1 on both sides. So 1/2 and 1. And here, same thing, you're going to do 4.5 and 5. Because these are going to be flaps. Let me just show you how to do this. It's very, very easy to understand. Once you fold the folding areas, there you go. That's how you're going to glue it. You're going to glue on the paper like this. So that's one. The other one is the same thing. So 1/2 and 1, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and here's 4.5. So you just go back one. But if you want to write it down, it's 3.5 and 4. Again, just burnish your fold lines. So these parts are ready to go. Now let's make the lid. The measurements are 10 3/8 by 6 3/8. And just so for those who are beginners, 3/8 sounds very complicated, but it's not. See, this is 1/4, so 1/4. 8s are this little tiny one right in the middle, see? Right here, these are the 8s. So 3/8 would be 3, 1, 2, 3. So not complicated at all. So here we go. We're going to score at 2 1/8. So 2 is here. 1/8. I'll score twice just to make it really strong. And 8 1/4. So repeating, 2 1/8, 8 1/4. But I will have it below. Don't worry about that, okay? 2 1/8 here. We're going to score on 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So let me show you what it looks like. See, this is going to be the lid. Let's varnish. Let's just varnish this, make it really strong. And just so you know, guys, you're going to need 3 pieces of paper, 3 12 by 12 cardstock, okay? 2 are not enough. I always have a lot of leftover, but you have to use 3 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock. So let's cut this. And the way we're going to cut is we're going to make like a triangle like this on all sizes. So we cut this one here all the way, and then you go at an angle like that all the way to, see, that's what it's going to look like on all sides. So here again, and you just repeat what's done here. And I just think it's easier to do these things with scissors than with your cutting board. There you go. Here I'm just gonna go straight there. Do the same thing. Just gonna have these half flaps here. There you go. Now we're gonna go to the assembling part. That's way more fun than the cutting part, at least for me. But you can see how this is going to be the lid. See? All we need to do now is glue. And I also add some paper here to make it firmer. So I'm going to give you now the sizes of these little tiny papers just to make a mat on here, 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 and here, because it makes it look pretty and it also makes it sturdier. And I do the same thing here. When you see the body of the box, I cut a mat for this part here, here, and here, because it just makes, even though this is cardstock, I just like to make it sturdier. Okay, so let me give you the measurements now. Okay, now we're going to cut the paper that's going, let me show you where they're gonna go. See, I always use some pads to make it sturdier on the sides and also front and back. So that's what we're going to cut now. Just some mats. We're going to cut the big ones first. We're going to have two. The sizes are 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. So 4 3/4 here by 5 3/4. So we're gonna have two of these. So I'm gonna make this one another angle here, 5 3/4. By 4 3/4. So these are the two that I'm going to use in front and on the back. You're also going to cut for the lid now. We're going to have 4. These are going to be actually the same sizes here. They're going to be 2. All of them are going to be 2, so we're going to have 1. It's a 6 by 6, so we're going to have 3, right? So it's 2 by 6. I have to cut a little bit here because, you know, the end of the paper where you have all those scoring lines. So I just want to make sure it's the right size here. 6. 1, 2. Come on. 3. So 3 pieces, 2 by 6. I'm going to have everything below for you. That's for the lid. And 2 tiny ones that are actually 2 by 2. Those are for the sides here. They will go here on the sides. So 2 2 by 2. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little bit of glue here. So you cut one strip and you make 2 little tiny 2 by 2s here, 2 squares for the sides. There you go. And I'm going to add one more strip for the box too. I didn't do it on my other one, but I did think that it was a little bit flimsy here. So I'm going to add one more. It's the same 2 by 6. So there you go. 2. I didn't do on the first one, but I am going to do that from now on, because I think it really helps the box be sturdy. And there you are. So recapping, just so you write down if you want, you don't want to look at the notes. We have 4 2x6, we have 2 2x2s, and we have these 2 here, the big ones, that are 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. So 2 of those, 4 of those, 2 of these. Now let's have some fun and let's glue these pieces together. Okay, so here we are. We're going to assemble the box now. Let's do the main part. The first thing I'm going to do, let's add the mats. And just remember that if this is facing this way, just remember this is the correct way in which you're going to see it. So just to make it easier for you, let's just turn it around. And you're going to add 1 mat here and 1 mat there, okay? So using a little bit of this is my favorite glue. If you want to write that down, it's called, let me see, Tombow. Tombow, it's the fastest drying, so strong, I absolutely love it. So here we are. I have tried all kinds of glues you can imagine, and nothing beats this one. It's really quick and strong, and that's what you need for paper projects. So a little bit more here. I just put a little bit on the edges. There you go. Making sure you see what I'm doing here. That's the good thing about liquid glue, because you have some wiggle room, and if it's not straight, you can make it straight. The last one, that as I told you, I didn't do this on my other one, but I will do on this one because it does make it stronger. Because even though cardstock is thick, sometimes it's just not thick enough, especially for box, when you're going to put a lot of stuff everywhere inside, and it's going to be heavy inside, so you do need to add a little bit more of paper. So there you go. So you have 2 layers here, 2 here and 2 here. We're going to glue this. We just flip them in and glue them, which makes it stronger too. There you go. See how fast it is? This glue is amazing. You do want a strong glue when you're making boxes, that's for sure. I've bought some of the cheaper ones. This one is kind of pricey, but when I'm making boxes, for cards you can use any kind of glue, but for boxes, not at all. So there you are. We have, this is what it's going to look like when it's closed, like this, see? But now we have to, I didn't add enough glue here. It's not the glue's fault, people, it's me. I just didn't add enough, I guess. Okay, now what we're going to do is to glue this part here to the box. And what I want you to do, guys, do you see this edge here? That's where you're going to glue this edge right here. So the way I do this, and I think it's the easiest, you just slide it up, make sure that this is aligned. See, these 2 sides here are aligned, see? And you just glue this right on the edge, because then you're going to flip it up and you're going to glue the sides, okay? So that's the easiest way that I found on how to glue this part of the box. Use a lot of glue just to make sure that this is going to be, so again, align these 2 sides and just go up to the edge. There you go, looks perfect. And then hold a little bit. Tombow glue doesn't need, as I said, it doesn't need much. It's so bright in here. Let me see if I turn this light off, if you can see the paper better. Yeah, okay. There you go, it's all glued. And what we're going to do now is to glue the sides to inside. So this will go inside the box, okay? So what I do is add a lot of glue on the edges, make sure that the edges are going to be, and you just flip. I like to just use the mat as a base like this. Yep, see? Make sure that it's all well aligned and just hold it for a while because this glue doesn't need a long time. I burnish a little bit here with my fingers. You can use your bone folder. I don't have my bone folder here, so I'm just going to use a pen that I have. See? So just make sure that it's well glued. Now let's do the other side. Just going to add some glue. Should have chosen maybe a darker paper because I think this is kind of too bright for the, let me just show you how to do this. See? Just make sure that it's standing up like this, you know, press it down and then you press the sides and you use your bone folder if you have one. I have a pen here, so that's what I'm using right now, just to make sure that it's well glued. Press it down a little bit, but if you have your bone folder, that's the best because it's flat. There you are. See? It's glued inside. Just press it a little bit like this. All good. Now what we're going to add, the last part of the box, is those tiny pieces that go right here. This is really, really easy to do. What you're going to do is add glue. You can either add glue or sometimes if you have a double-sided tape, it's really good option too, but I'm just going to use it. This is the Tombow too. I just have it on this little container here. It makes it easier for small spaces because it's so thin here. Just want to make sure. So you choose whichever side you want it to go to. This is how I do it. I make sure that the sides are very well aligned. See, you align the side to the side of the box and you just hold it there for a while, making sure that it's really well aligned here to the side, very flush, and there you go. And the second side here, I just press it down. Always make sure that it's, see, don't let it slide to the side because otherwise it would change shape and that actually the size would change too. So there you are. It's not hard at all to fix it. Always make sure that this is aligned. And there you are. I'm going to use my pen again because I forgot my bone folder. So I'm just pressing with my pen to make sure that it's well glued. The other little tiny piece will go here. And what I do is I glue this part because you have something to base yourself on. You just glue this part first and then the last one. See, it's going to be perfect. Make sure this is well aligned here. I think it needs to be pressed. Yeah, that's what I like about liquid glue. If I had done this with double-sided tape, you wouldn't be able to move the paper. That's why I use liquid glue. You have to always give yourself some room for moving. There you are. Just glue the first part here. See, use this as a guide and just press it against it. That's going to be well placed. And this one, again, see, you just align it to the side of the box. See how well You align it, you make sure that it's aligned here. And that's perfect. Again, I'm going to use my pen. Just press it. Press this side too. If you have your bone folder, use that. This is much better. But there you are. Just going to press a little bit to the side here. It wasn't as well glued as it's supposed to be. There you go. So your box is ready. See? All ready. Now let's finish by making the lid. The lid is the easiest part that you have. Let's glue the mats first. The little tiny ones on the side. The 2x2, remember? These are the 2x2. There you are. One, done. And actually what makes a difference in this is the paper that you use. So make sure they go together. And what I do, guys, is everything that I put inside, like the tags and the cards that I'm going to make and to put inside, I just use the same paper or anything that's matching. And that's why I told you in the beginning, I usually use papers from the same collection or the same paper pad, because they usually come in colors that naturally match each other. So just even if it's a different design, the colors will be the same, so they will always match and look good. So that's what makes a difference here. Because I have done one time, there was one present that I was making for a friend, and I decided to use all these scraps that I had, and at the end it looked like just such a mess. I didn't give it to her because nothing matched. It looked horrible, really. So I just said, nah, I'll just use this separately, the cards and all the little things that I made for the inside. So here are the flaps. Just burnish them. Add some glue. Make sure it goes right on the edge. I'm going to put on the other side already. And here's how you do it. You align the side really well here, and you just hold for a minute and turn and burnish with your finger or bone folder or whatever you have. See, here it's the same thing. Always align. Let me show you how to do this. Align it really well here. The other one is kind of coming apart. There you go. And you hold it, and then you hold it back and you press it a little bit just to make sure that it's... Oh, I missed my bone folder. But it is what it is. I only have a pen here. That's what I use. So use the pen just to press it down. Let's do the other side. See how easy it is to make the lid? We're almost done. Now all you have to do is use your imagination and your creativity, and I know, guys, that you have a lot of that. And whatever you want to put inside, notebooks, cards. But as I told you, just remember that it does fit A2 cards, which is the most used size of cards that we have. See? Again, let me show you again. There you are, like this. Let's make sure that the borders are done well, because otherwise the box will not close. The lid will not close, and the box... See, this one moved a little bit, you see, just a little bit, but I just want to make sure that it's perfect. Let me just show you how perfect this is going to close. We have now, we put everything aside. This is the lid. This is the box that we made. There you are. So you close it like this on the sides, come with the lid, and Perfect. How great is that? Well, I'm sure all of you are now dying to make one. I hope you do. This is a great option for presents because you will personalize for whoever you're making this. Some people need cards, some people need more notebooks. You add a pen like I did. My last one, oh, let me just show you one with all the goodies inside. See, I have a notebook, I have stickers here, I have this magnetic bookmark. These are the two boxes. Let me close this one. I just love how perfectly it closes. And there you are, two stationery boxes for you to make and have fun with. Thank you for being here again, and I'll see you next time.